Okay, so before I get going with the meeting, I was asked about, I ran into a product on a video, can't even tell you which video, but it was one on YouTube's on how to clean AirPods, or to clean like the ports on your phone, any port, you know, the port on your watch. And the product that they were wanting you to use, or that this person liked, was this one. I've got a picture of it here that I'll put up. There it is. Oops, there it is right there. On Amazon, it's a whopping $4. I found that it works pretty good. Now, George got some, and he said it didn't work as well for him. But it's like a putty, and you just tear off a little piece. It comes in these strips. You can see I haven't used very much of it. You just tear off a piece, and then you just take and, you know, push it in where you're cleaning, and it does a pretty good job of getting into those nooks and crannies and cleaning things, and clean my case up pretty good, and clean my AirPods up pretty good. You want to comment that you used it as well?
No, I have a big problem with earwax, so, but no, it did a nice job. It'll do it, and I probably didn't have the patience to continue to poke it inside some of those sections.
We all know you're not a patient man.
Right. But people rave about it. You can get YouTube videos and everything. Yeah. That'll show you how to do it.
Yes.
Don't confuse it with the Loctite glue, which is what I use to glue my magnet on here.
Yeah, no, there's all kinds of there's all kinds of products that they make. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Any questions on that? Okay. So the next thing I wanted to mention is on the business cards. If you've got a place like at your country club or something where they allow you to display this stuff, just grab a stack and put them on display. I know I go with a bike group down to the 5th Avenue coffee area, and they've got a place where the people have their business cards, and I'll put some of them down there. But I think I know a lot of people will ask me. I'll start talking to them when I see their Apple Watch or their phone, and I'll mention the club and mention the times, and then they forget about it. But it's going to be nice to have a card that I can just say, here's a card that tells all about it.
Yeah, I was at a bar the other night where the girl was dancing on the bar.
Yeah.
I looked over on the side where the cards were. Yours is front and center.
Was it?
Right.
Good. I was at that place the night before.
I want to know about this place.
Yeah. Well, just go to the growing place, and if you walk in and there's a business card that says NMUG, you'll know you're at the right place. Okay. So George was suggesting, as he normally does, that I show a video, and it's a good one, that summarizes what Apple announced a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to show that video, and then we can talk about that. Hopefully this video is going to go well.
Today, Apple held an event in the Steve Jobs Theater at its Apple Park campus to debut a plethora of new services. And so in this video, we're going to go over everything that Apple announced. Tim Cook got on stage and jumped right into the company's first new subscription service, Apple News Plus. Apple News Plus is a subscription-based Apple News service that now offers you your own personal newsstand with full access to hundreds of magazines and a handful of newspapers. Subscribers will gain access to magazines like ESPN the Magazine, Esquire, The New Yorker, Wired, and much more. In the existing Apple News application, Apple News Plus showcases magazines in richly designed layouts, featuring animated covers, vivid photography, and bold typography, optimized for your iPhone, iPad, and Mac. In the Today and News Plus tab, subscribers will be presented with individual article and issue recommendations based on both editorial curation and personalized suggestions, all while maintaining user privacy. Apple News Plus is available today when you update to iOS 12.2 and will cost users $9.99 a month in the US and $12.99 a month in Canada. Next up, Tim Cook moved on to Apple Pay, where he announced a new Apple credit card and service called Apple Card. To me, Apple Card might be one of the more interesting announcements of the day, as it's a new digital and physical credit card that users will be able to sign up for right on their iPhones. The sign-up process literally takes a few minutes, and then you can begin to use the new credit card via Apple Pay immediately in stores, in apps, or online. Once you've used Apple Card, you'll see real-time views of your latest transactions and balances inside of the Wallet app. Apple Card uses machine learning and Apple Maps to label transactions, so you're not stuck trying to figure out what a specific charge is on your statement, and all of the purchases are totaled and color-coded in specific categories like food and drinks, shopping and entertainment, and more. The Wallet app will then give you an overview of how much you're spending on those categories at the end of the month, so you can keep track of money spent and create budgets. The Apple Card offers perks like daily cash, where you can receive 2% cash back for all Apple Pay purchases, 3% for all Apple-related purchases, and 1% for traditional purchases made sans Apple Pay. Apple Pay is partnering with Goldman Sachs for the credit card and says that it will offer interest rates among the lowest in the industry, no yearly fees, and no penalty rates if a user misses a payment. So if you live in an area like I do, where not every place supports Apple Pay, the company has actually created a physical credit card that's designed in a very Apple-like manner, with no card number, no CVV, no expirations or signature. It's just a clean credit card that's made out of titanium. Apple Card will be launching in the US this summer. Moving on to gaming, Apple also announced a new subscription-based gaming service for mobile, desktop, and for the living room. Apple Arcade will feature over 100 games from creators like Disney, Sega, Lego, and more. All content in all the games will be included with the purchase price, with no additional in-app fees to unlock content. You'll be able to play Apple Arcade games both on and offline on your iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple TV. To access Apple Arcade, you'll be able to head into the App Store and check out the dedicated Apple Arcade tab at the bottom of the app. Now, Apple didn't unveil pricing on Apple Arcade just yet, but we'll hear more details when it launches in fall 2019 in more than 150 countries. Finally, Apple closed its event focusing on TV and first introduced a redesigned Apple TV app, as well as a new Apple TV channels feature. This new app will bring together TV shows, movies, sports, news, and more, all in one hub, available across all devices, including the Apple TV, iOS devices, Macs, and smart TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, and Vizio, as well as Roku and Amazon streaming boxes. The app will now feature a new For You section that recommends TV shows based on what you watch. Nothing groundbreaking here, but what is pretty cool is that the app will include suggestions for shows and movies from over 150 different streaming apps like Hulu, Prime Video, DirecTV Now, and PlayStation Vue, and much more. Apple TV Channels takes this one step further and provides users the ability to choose what services they want, and can even allow users to subscribe and watch shows all from within the app. This is great because now you won't have to jump between various applications, remember all of your logins, etc. It's just one app that houses everything that you want to watch. Apple TV Channels is limited to a handful of services like HBO, Showtime, and Starz, and it won't include Netflix or Hulu. Apple plans to release the new Apple TV app in May. Later in the year, the TV app will house Apple's new subscription service, Apple TV Plus, and Apple says Apple TV Plus will be the home for the world's most creative storytellers and will feature original TV shows, movies, and documentaries. Original content partners such as Steven Spielberg, Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, J.J. Abrams, Jason Momoa, and even Oprah Winfrey were all on stage to explain a little bit more about the content that they will be producing for the new streaming service. The actors and actresses provided us with a glimpse into their new shows, and Apple closed the keynote with a montage of the new original content like The Morning Show, See, Amazing Stories, etc. The service will launch in fall of 2019, but pricing hasn't yet been announced. Let us know your thoughts on the new services that Apple announced at today's event in the comments section down below. Tell us which ones you're most excited about and which one you might be subscribing to. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Okay, so that was the big Apple announcement a few weeks ago. I think I think the News Plus is nice. I don't know that I'm going to jump on that because because of my affiliation with Merrill Lynch and Bank of America, even though I'm retired, I still get the Wall Street Journal and Barron's for free. So that's not a biggie for me. I really don't read the New York Times or the LA Times. The magazines are interesting, and so I might sign up for that or do the trial. I'm curious, has anybody else signed up for that yet? Okay, what do you think about it, George?
I like it very much, and I turned off my subscription to the Wall Street Journal, and I now read the Naples paper online, so I don't get any more papers or magazines, and I like the idea.
Yeah, I think it's good, and you made an interesting point, because one of my other friends who was subscribing to the Wall Street Journal canceled his subscription, did the same thing. In my case, that's not a benefit because I get the Wall Street Journal and Barron's for free. Yes, it was Ed, right? Yes, you signed up as well?
I subscribed, it was a free month. I've been trying it, and I'm not going to continue it. I get the Wall Street Journal, but I pay. And so the Wall Street Journal is plenty for what I'm looking for, plus my up north newspaper. Okay. And all the other stuff just wasn't. You don't get the full Wall Street Journal. You only get highlights of the Wall Street Journal. Or the New York Times, you just get highlights of these. You don't get the whole thing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that was my question. And when did you cancel, George, the physical paper or the online Wall Street Journal?
Well, for the last, 5 years, I've been getting the Wall Street Journal as a student, and they won't give it to me anymore.
The physical paper or online?
Both.
Both.
Both. And, but you know, I find that even when I read the paper, Wayne, that's all I look for is the highlights. Yeah, and you can almost read the first page of the Wall Street Journal and you got all the highlights.
All in the list.
Right, right. So, and then if you really want anything more than the highlights, there's always, I get all these flashes from CNBC. I seem to get all the news that's going on in the entire world almost for free anyway. So, but I wanted to try the subscription for a year and see if I like it or not. Because I pretty much just read the highlights, and if I need to get into it, I'll get into it.
You mentioned the Naples paper. Do you get that on the Apple product?
No, and I'm not sure if you can or you can't. Because I haven't really spent the time on it yet.
I don't think you can get it on the Apple product, but you can subscribe online, or you can get the app. I have the app, and they give you so many days a month for free. I don't know if it's 8 or 10, and then after you've exceeded that, they won't show you the full article. They'll just show you like the first paragraph or so of the article.
But it's $5 if you get the Naples paper online. It's $5 a month.
Oh, that's all?
Yeah, and if you're getting it at home, they were jerking around with the price, and they just recently took it up to over $30.
Yeah, right.
And for years I called them and I said, based on my increase on my Social Security check, that's how much money I'll, don't up it any further. I said, as a matter of fact, a couple of years it was flat. Your Social Security check was flat, and they actually abided by that for a while. But then this last year they said $30 or we'll cancel yours, which I said we'll cancel.
For $5 online, do you get the full paper?
Yes.
Advertisements and
yes.
such? Okay.
Everything.
Okay,
the section, you don't get the advertising section, but you get the 911 or whatever that thing is for the weekend. You get everything. You get pretty much everything. And you get all the advertising that's in the paper.
Restaurant deals, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this is the free version.
There's another hand.
Yeah, just a note, the New York Times is not offered on the Apple product.
Oh, it's not?
It's the LA Times.
LA Times,
Yeah.
okay. I don't read that one either. That's interesting. I didn't know that about the Wall Street Journal summary because I get the full deal.
Well, we all didn't have a job like you had.
I know you didn't. I feel sorry for you. Okay, so this is the free version. I'm sure it looks like the paid version, and if I hit on this, it'll show it'll show the full article. But if I look at too many articles, I know it. It'll come up and it'll show me about this much, and then it just says you have to subscribe. You've exceeded your free look for the month.
But if you have subscribed, you can see the full edition, I think, on the Apple device.
There's two versions of the Naples Daily News. One is the photo print of the actual newspaper. So if you're interested in the ads and et cetera, and then the other one is a digital edition, which I think is what you're looking at now.
Yeah.
$6.95.
Yeah. Yes.
I've found out on some of these newspapers that keep count of how many places, how many times you've been there. If it comes up as a reader review, and you click hit on the reader review, you get the whole thing. It gets beyond the, you have to subscribe.
So wait a minute, Jerry, you know a scam? You hit on the reader view?
I'm looking at it on my iMac. And in the URL, there's a little symbol that says, that indicates there's a reader view available. If you click on that, you get past the paywall in many of these locations.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's a good point. I never look at it on my Mac. I always look at it on my iPad or the phone. But that's a good point. And I don't look so it doesn't come up on a website. I use the app. Okay. So yes.
Just want to add that those presentations, there's like three or four a year that Apple does. WWDC, which is the Developers Conference, and then these announcements in the spring and in the fall. Those, there's an app on the Apple TV that you can download, and you'll get, it's not automatic enough, you can watch that entire presentation right on an app on your Apple TV.
Yeah, that's the way I watch it all the time. And if you're not there for a presentation, like I can go home and pull it up right now and watch it again.
Right. Very convenient.
Yes, very convenient. Yes. So that's the News Plus. We'll see how that goes. The credit card is very interesting, but I'm a little disappointed. I've read a lot of reviews on it. A lot of people really think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. A lot of people have been poo-hooing it. I'm sure a massive amount of people will get it. The fact that they don't have penalties and there's no cost, that's a real plus. If you make a late payment or something, for some people, probably for most people in here, that's not an issue. But if you, the rewards, particularly using that physical card, the reward is not that great. It's 1%. If I use my Costco, it's compared a lot to the Costco card. Visa card, the rewards for that, and if you use that at a gas station, it's like 3%, and it's 2% on all other purchases. So, so the Costco card it really has a lot of benefits. And the one guy in the video said, if you buy your stuff with the Costco card, it extends the warranty a couple of years. I don't know how that exactly works. Does anybody know that?
Yes.
How does that work? So if I buy an Apple iPhone and I use my Costco card in the Apple store?
No, you have to buy it in store.
You have to buy it in Costco store?
Or in Costco online.
Okay. So, and they don't, okay, so if I buy my phone there?
It extends the warranty 2 years.
And how does it extend the warranty? So when my Apple Care, if I bought Apple Care, and that's 2 years, then I'll get another 2 years through Costco?
Actually, I think it's 1 year on top of that. It's 2 years in total, but it includes the 1 year that you got from Apple.
Okay. Do you use it to buy all your stuff there?
I tried.
Okay. Yes?
I will say, because I just bought my phone from Costco, and the extended warranty doesn't apply on the phone, at least what they told me, because you're technically buying it from Verizon.
Ah, okay.
Because it's, even though I bought it at Costco, it went through Verizon as the purchaser. So,
Okay.
but
Yes.
for TVs and things like that, it's great.
Yes, Jim?
Excuse me. I think it's not generally known that credit cards in general will sometimes extend a warranty if you use that particular credit card. I had an Apple laptop where the hard drive failed outside of the Apple warranty, but inside of the warranty that the credit card provided, and that paid for having the new hard drive installed. I wasn't aware of it until the Apple person I talked to said, you might check if your credit card extends the warranty, and it did.
Yeah, a lot of credit cards do that. I had a very favorable experience with that a number of years ago with American Express, and I got the phone that was actually before the Apple phones, but it was like a $400 phone, and after about, I don't know, 40 or 50 days, it was after the 30-day warning, a couple of buttons weren't working, and I went back, and they said, well, we don't cover buttons. But with American Express at that time, they covered it, I think, up to 90 days. So I called them. They just said, send in the old phone. We'll send you a new one. We'll send you a check for $400. Go get a new one. Well, the phone went down to $200. So I said, what do you want me to do? They said, just keep the money.
Save your receipts.
Yes.
Mitch, it also extends the concierge.
Yeah.
Which was that?
It extends the concierge.
I mean, it's amazing what these credit cards cover and you don't know about it. I've even found out recently that a lot of when you go on a cruise ship and you spend $300 or $400 a person for the added insurance, that some of your credit cards, if you read the fine print, cover you on your travel.
Yes,
Sally, am I right?
some of them do, yes.
Okay, so, anybody else have any thoughts on the Apple credit card? I mean, I think the one thing that's nice about it is, that caught my attention, is if I go to the store and buy an Apple phone, I'm going to save 3% on that purchase. And that's nice, because you normally don't get any discounts on phones. Or, computers or anything else. And I mean, if it's something I guess you could buy at Costco and the extended warranty would come into play, that would make sense to do it there. But that did catch my attention. The 2% for online stuff using Apple Pay, that was okay. The thing that really disappointed me is when you get out that titanium card and you want to use it at a restaurant or at a gasoline station, the rewards are not nearly as good as the Costco card or other cards available.
Excuse me.
Yes.
What's the difference in my wallet here on the phone? I got this blank Apple, it says pay cash.
That's a pay cash application that you can actually transfer cash to somebody. I'll show you how to use that after the meeting, and I'll let you transfer cash to me. Okay. Yes.
The other discount that I've used with American Express, if you have a bunch of American Express points and you go into their gift packages, they don't discount the phone, but they will discount the number of points you use to buy Apple products. Not all the time, but it's something worth checking.
Yeah, I know. I've got a friend of mine, a pretty wealthy friend that travels the world, and he actually had enough points on his American Express that they got a couple Apple Watches a few years ago. Yes, somebody else had their hand up. Yes.
Have you got your Costco Visa card to work with Apple Pay? Well, when I first did it, they said it wouldn't work because it was a business card.
Yeah, no, it works.
Oh, okay, so you got your Costco Visa in your Apple
Yeah, my
Pay?
Costco Visa is in there. Let me just
Okay,
look.
I'll have to try again.
Yes, I do.
There it is.
All right.
Okay, it
And
is
where's
in
in the
there.
stores?
I haven't used it in the Costco store, but they told me you can.
Yeah, you can.
You can? You've used it? Okay.
I haven't used it, but you can.
Yeah. They told me you could use it.
You can use Apple Pay. You can use the Costco card with Apple Pay.
Yes.
In the store.
That's what they told me, yes. They will not, you can hold your phone up and they'll scan it.
If I got the tablet,
If you've got it set up,
You got it
yes.
set up.
Yes, and I didn't have any trouble setting mine up.
Okay. Have you ever tried it?
I have a few set up. I just deleted one, but I have my main American Express that I use, and then I have my debit card is in there, which I rarely use. My Amazon Prime is in there. I rarely use that one, but I use it on Amazon all the time. That's a good deal. Does anybody else have that Amazon Prime credit card? Yeah. I mean, 5% back on every purchase. And they kept on flashing this up, and I'm not one to get credit cards for these special deals. And finally, I got to looking at that one, and that's actually the last credit card I got was that one. And I mean, I've got Amazon boxes. I'm not going to give you my address because you'll come by and want them. But we probably have 3 or 4 boxes that come a week. Now some of this stuff is only $5 or $10. Like this is $4 or $5, but some of this stuff is $100 or $200. And I know I've gotten $300 or $400 worth of rewards in the last year or two, with that 5%. It just keeps on accumulating.
So you have to apply.
Is that only on Amazon products?
You have to. It's on Prime products. You have to apply for the credit card, yeah, but they're pretty good about getting those out, approving you're really good if your credit's good. And now you, Don, you're always in the back, and I don't know. You're the treasurer, and you're always the first one out the door after a meeting. So a little suspect, you might have a little problem. The only other thing you got to remember is we've had a lot of classes on security. I've got a credit freeze on my account now on all 3 agencies. They're sort of a pain to deal with because they have to be set up each one, and so I've got some notes in my phone on how to undo that real quick. So if I apply for something, I need to remember to do that. Now my wife still, I just had the credit fraud alert, but I wanted to try the freeze, and so and the fraud alert, you just call one agency and they report it to all the others. It's real easy, but it's not as protective as the freeze. Okay, so that's the credit card. The TV thing, the jury's out on that because they really haven't announced what the price is going to be. And the game things is for people, generally speaking, not in our age category, so I'm not going to go into that. Yes?
Did you understand, I wasn't quite sure on the TV thing. I mean, sounds like they're going to allow it to go into like Samsung TVs and stuff. Is it going to be the interface for even my Comcast stuff, do you think? Or is it just going to be like a glorified Apple TV app?
I think it's going to be more of the latter.
Okay.
I think that Apple TV, if you think about what they've done with the magazine, you know, I can still go in and I literally use Apple News every day. I go in and skim articles and so on. And the plus thing's up there if I want to sign up for a trial. It always pops right up at the top. And I think that it's going to be something like that. That's how I envision it. They haven't said.
Yeah.
But that's where I access Netflix and Amazon Prime now is on that whole TV experience. You have any comments on that? Because you're a TV guy, Jim.
You know, Jerry sent me a copy of this article that said Netflix was not going, with the new smart TVs, Netflix was not going to allow the beaming of Netflix from your phone to some of these new smart TVs. And for me personally, I always liked the signal that I got from Netflix through the Apple TV. And so it was a no harm, no foul to me.
Well, I think that'll still be there. I think the thing that won't be there is when you hit on their subscription, which will have HBO and Hulu and whatever else. That is not going to have access to Netflix. But I would assume all those other apps that are on my Apple TV are gonna still be there, but that might be a wrong.
That's my assumption too.
Yeah, that's my assumption.
Because you can buy those separately.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you've got a Showtime app or a HBO app, it's going to continue to be, you know, part of your, if you have it through Comcast, you'll automatically have it through your Apple TV.
Yeah.
You just have to download the app from the App Store.
Right.
And then log in.
Are they issuing a new box of hardware, Apple TV?
They have not said so, I don't believe. The latest one handles 4K. I have a couple of those.
How many in the room have an Apple TV?
I moved and can't find it yet.
The Apple TV has the best processing of a signal that you can get. It's better than the TV's processor. So that's the benefit. If you got a really good TV, you use an Apple TV, you're getting the highest level of HDR, high dynamic range, that's the color, as well as the quality of overall pictures best through an Apple TV.
I second that. Yes, Jim.
I absolutely, totally agree. I've tried streaming Netflix through my smart TV. Through now Comcast carries Netflix too. You can access Netflix through Comcast. Doesn't come close to the signal that you get straight through the Apple TV. And I don't know how many people are fans of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but I watched that through as a 4K signal from Amazon Prime, and the colors are just breathtaking.
Yes, they are. I actually we have 4 TVs, 1, 2, can't keep track of them, my wife goes out and buys one every other day. We have 5 TVs in our house, 3 of them have Apple TVs on them.
You must be rich.
Well, I'll tell you how I got a couple of these. There was some special they were offering at AT&T, and they were giving these things away, and I got a couple of them there earlier in the year.
I think we have a question.
Yes.
Why would you want an Apple TV? Why would
It's a box.
Why would you want an Apple TV?
Okay, it's a box that hooks to your TV. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not a TV. It's not a TV. It's a box that hooks to the back of your TV, and then when you go to that port, you'll have a port for your TV, and then you have a port for Apple TV. And when you pull up that Apple TV, a whole screen comes up with all these apps on, including any movies that you have bought, including any music that you have. You can link your pictures up to it. And then it has, if you have Netflix, you can get that, if you have a subscription to that, Hulu, and a host of other things. So that's
you buy this Apple adapter.
Yes.
And then do you pay Comcast if that's your server for using this?
All you pay for is that Apple adapter, and I don't know what they cost nowadays.
$156.
$156, yeah. And then you hook that to the back of your TV. You got to make sure that you've got a TV that's not over 4 or 5 years old, that has those extra ports on the back. And it's really nice.
And do you have to tell the carrier Comcast?
No.
Do you have that?
No.
And they don't charge you extra?
No, they don't charge you extra at all. Yes, Jim?
By the way, this woman's reaction verifies my opinion that Apple TV is the worst name for a device. It's tied with, in my opinion, with complications for the Apple Watch.
Yes. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Because it's very misleading.
When you're writing and you're talking to somebody on in a text or in an email, you always have to clarify what you mean by an Apple TV.
Yeah.
That it's a streaming device, it's not a television.
The cord that connects it to your TV is bigger than the Apple TV.
Yeah, it's a box that's, this big. It's about this big and about, a little bit smaller than this, and it's about 1 1/4 inches thick.
It's a hockey puck.
Yeah, it's a hockey puck. Except it's not round, it's square.
All of this information is being communicated directly to Tim Apple. Tim Apple.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is you can go on, if you go on the, probably go on, if you go on YouTube's and just, or go Google, what is Apple TV? You'll probably get all kinds of videos that you can watch on that as well. If you're ever at the Apple store in Coconut Point, tell them you want a demonstration on how the Apple TV works, and they'll show you.
Mitch,
Yes,
would it be more appropriate to call it Apple TV converter?
I don't know. I'll have to call Tim Cook and ask him.
Yeah, they'll probably change the name next week, I'm sure.
After they hear about our feedback from our, I guess George sends a direct feed to Tim Cook every week. Yes, Wayne.
That presentation, I think, and when you were talking about improvements with the TV app, is an app that's inside of many things, including your phone and that. That's the Apple TV's app. That's Apple's app. And that thing is what's been broadly expanded, or will be. It's not the Apple TV, it's the app.
Yes, and I'm sure that app is going to be on your Apple TV screen as one of the choices.
Yeah, yes.
That's what
or they're putting in this Apple TV Plus, which I think is built, that's the one that's built right into the TV.
Yeah.
So you never have to, but that was it's very confusing, and yes.
So wait a minute,
got it screwed up.
so you won't have to purchase necessarily the puck anymore?
The box, right. You won't have to purchase the hockey puck, my understanding. But I hope they have the quality inside those TVs that the Apple.
Yeah. Now see what you need. So what you need to do, George,
I would assume not.
is you'll have to go out and buy a new $2,000 or $3,000 TV, and then you won't have to have the hockey puck.
I'm gonna have to get a part
Really? Yes.
I just wanted to mention for people that are not familiar with it, your Apple TV, when you get it, has several apps on it, just like your phone or your iPad or your, well, let's just stick with that. And you can click on those apps to get data or whatever you want to see on the apps. Now, if you have a service like Comcast, and your Comcast contract includes those programs like National Geographic or several other programs, you can see them on your Apple TV by just connecting your Comcast password. So if you're getting several programs on your TV through your provider, those apps will be on your Apple TV, and you can access those apps free of charge. Like if you have HBO, for example, and you have an HBO app on your Apple TV, you can just put in your Comcast password and you'll be able to get that on your Apple TV.
Good point.
I don't know if I explained that correctly, but.
Yes. So it's like when that screen comes up, when you plug it in, if you went out and bought one, you'll see Apple TV, you'll see movies, and you'll see music, and that's all the Apple stuff. And then you'll see Netflix, and you'll see Hulu, and you'll see HBO. If you hit on Netflix, if you're not a subscriber to Netflix, it'll say, please, if you want this, subscribe, and you have to pay. Or you'll do a one-time password thing. And some of that password stuff is being passed on automatically. Some of it isn't supposed to be.
But there are a lot of apps that you can get if you have a contract with your provider.
Yes.
Without extra charge.
Without extra charge.
Right.
And they have an app store or thing where you can go and look for other apps that you might want on that screen. Jim.
My understanding, see if you understand this the same way. My understanding is that the new Apple streaming service, Apple TV Plus, is going to start appearing on smart televisions, but will also be an app on the Apple TV hockey puck.
That's what my understanding is.
Which is basically the status that Netflix and Hulu and Sling TV all have.
Exactly, yes. Yes.
For those who don't know Apple TV, I think it's important to realize that all these visuals come up on the TV when you plug in the Apple TV puck. So the screen for that little thing is your TV. And the input is touch input that you have on that puck.
Yes. Yes.
I don't understand your putting in the Comcast password to get all of the things that you get in Comcast. Because I've got a puck in Spain, and if I don't have there's some code that you have to send from the internet onto your puck in Spain in order to get that service. I can get Netflix because I've entered that data, but National Geographic or even CBS, which I pay for here in the States, but I can't get it elsewhere.
I don't think you would be able to get it in a foreign country.
Do they have Comcast in Spain?
No.
That's your answer right there. It's limited to, you know. Okay.
Well, we have a
Carl.
Yeah, several years ago, I bought a Roku because at that time you couldn't get Amazon Prime and the Apple TV. Now, is there any disadvantage to the Apple TV compared to the Roku? Or
I don't know, I'm not a Roku person. If you wanted to, I just don't know about Roku. Does anybody here use Roku? Okay, one.
Well, that's because our kids did.
Yes, you had a couple.
So the streaming device, can you explain that?
The streaming device is the Apple TV hockey puck we're talking about.
That's called the streaming device. And the definition of streaming is?
It's streaming in. It's streaming in through the internet lines.
Record.
It's coming.
Another question, if you have an iPhone and you would like to upgrade it to a 10 or 11?
Yes.
Where's the best place economically that you would recommend?
I always buy mine at Apple. Some people choose to go to the carrier. I choose to deal directly with Apple. However, on trading in the old device, I've sold them outright to people who wanted the older device. I have sold them on, what's that outfit that's always wanting the device? Gazelle. I've sold a couple to Gazelle. And Apple usually offers a trade-in. They'll give you some money back, but theirs usually isn't that attractive. It will usually be, if Gazelle's $250 for a used phone, Apple will give you maybe $225. So there's different ways that you'll get some money out of the older phone, definitely.
Probably the easiest, which is sometimes for some people the best, is probably the Apple Store.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing about the Apple Store is they do take the time to set it up and everything for you. You do need to back up make sure your data is backed up to the cloud before you get a new phone so that they can transfer all that over. So the best thing, if you're a little hazy on that, is before you buy your phone, call Apple and say, I want to buy a phone, I want to make sure my data is going to transfer over, can you guide me through this? So what I need to do, and they will help you with that, or we can help you here. Yes?
Last time I was in the Apple Store doing something like that, they started charging for transferring your stuff to a new product.
I haven't experienced that.
Well, I think they just made an announcement that for the computers.
They did it with the watch. They did it with the watch.
Yeah. I never heard of that. I mean, but you know.
At Coconut Point they do.
Well, was it for a computer or for a phone?
Watch. For watch.
For watch.
And they charge about $35 or $40 to do it.
Where'd you buy the watch?
Just Coconut Point.
You bought it at the store?
At Apple.
And they charged you?
Just moved everything over.
Move everything over from where?
Pardon me?
Move everything over from where?
That's what did they do?
Where did they move it from? Another
My old
watch?
watch to my new watch.
What?
That's an automatic thing.
What do you mean automatic?
In the price.
When you put your watch on a
You should
charger.
tell Coconut Point it's automatic.
No.
No.
When you put your watch on a charger at night and it's in Wi-Fi, it automatically backs up. When you, and when you unpair that old watch, it automatically creates a backup. It's supposed to, I heard one person say it didn't. But it automatically creates a backup. When you go to pair a new watch, it goes and grabs that backup and brings it right down. So maybe they charge you because you didn't know how to pair the watch, but...
I certainly know how to do that, but that's what happened. I could show you the receipt.
What kind of charge?
$35?
$35.
Pardon me? I didn't understand
How much was it?
that.
How much?
It was about $40 a year.
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised too, and I've never experienced that.
Mitch, could he mean that, you know how when they put something...
Quiet.
When you put a new...
Hey, what?
When you put a new device on, say, Verizon or whatever your carriers, they do charge a fee to do that.
But he already had a watch,
Right.
and you didn't change carriers.
All I did was change from a 3 to a 3 cellular.
When you change to it, I think when you make that upgrade, then there's a one-time charge, and that charge is coming from your carrier.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
There's
a charge.
But not from Apple.
But not from Apple. Now, Apple might have charged it to you, but usually it's a one-time charge from the carrier when you, and then it's $10 a month for that.
I'll check on that, but I don't think so. I'll check.
Okay.
Anybody any inkling when the new store will open?
The new store, the last I heard, which is old information, was August or September. I was up at Waterside a couple times last week, and I mean, it's, they had the door open, I looked in, the construction door, I looked in, and they had iron rotting down where they were going to pour concrete on the floor, and parts of it, I can only see part of it, and you know, there were no walls or anything, there were big beams and everything, and the front was all still open, so it's gonna be a while.
the same place though, right?
Same place and 3.5 times as big.
Wow.
It's gonna have restrooms, it's gonna have trees, it's gonna have a lot of stuff.
I bet on January of
2 stories?
I talked to a Waterside employee up at
Coconut?
Yeah, and he said it'd be late this year.
Late now.
Yeah.
Okay, because they were saying September, October, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if you do anything with Collier County and have to get all these inspections, I mean, it's never on time.
And they, by contract, can only work at night because of the stores.
They can only do certain things at night, because there are people in there every day.
Are there?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, that's right.
Yes?
What you're saying on that time I was up at Coconut Point the other day, and I asked the guy that, and he said, it is the city and the county on all the permits waiting, going up to the CO. It's delaying everything. It's their schedule. And he said, as soon as they go along, once they finally get their CO, he said, everything inside will be naked. He said that, they'll use their own money, no CO, I mean, once they get the CO, they can do that practically overnight. So it's between them and the county.
Yeah, and that can be very problematic.
And then, of course, some of the other vendors in the mall saying, no, we don't want this work down. Even though some of them are complaining, we're about to go out of business because we don't get your traffic coming in.
Yes.
If one drops the monthly subscription of HBO from Comcast.
Yes.
And gets HBO streamed by some other method.
Yes.
Is there a charge somehow? Does it equal out? Or am I just saving myself all that charge every month from Comcast.
I think it depends on where you're getting it from. Jim?
I think the difference in price, it's hard to calculate with Comcast because frequently HBO is part of packages. So it's hard to split out what you're actually paying for HBO when you get it from Comcast, unless it's the only channel you're getting, and then you're probably going to pay the same. But if you drop it from Comcast and get HBO Now, which is the streaming version of HBO, it's 15 or 16 bucks a month.
Oh, okay. And how much is it with Comcast?
Well, that's what I said.
Depends on their
It's
package.
difficult to tell because it's usually
Wrapped up in a package with other things.
And specials.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, when I went into Comcast, lived here last week, because my Comcast bill suddenly went up over 300 when they were supposedly going to fix something about a fee. And I went in there, and the fellow there, of course, they was talking to me to a new promotion where you can get all the basics.
We said, oh my God.
Caught red-handed.
$100 fee.
$100 fee is right, yes.
To everybody here.
Please continue.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, he laid out this whole new thing, and somebody else had said this also, and they went in and complained, all of a sudden it dropped the price, but I could get a lot of the basic stuff I watch for like $100, including blast internet speed, which seems to be worse than what I had, and then you could add in, pick and choose, and the HBO was going to be like $15 a month, and I wanted Showtime and Stars and the four basic ones. The other ones were $12 a month. And you still have to pay for the broadcast fee and the sports fee well, I paid for the modem and blah, blah, blah. But it came out about $50, $60 less.
Who is that?
Well, when I went into the Comcast store next to Trader Joe's, and I was like, how come I went in and you're supposed to make it cheaper and it's now over $300 a month, so.
You're paying over $300 a month?
Well, I was getting all the packages and everything else, so.
You must be related to
So I so I unbundled.
Well, I know that they have these verbal contracts. I know I'm on one now that expires this summer, but I called them complaining because I said, hey, I thought this thing was supposed to be, I think it was $170 a month, and it wasn't going to change for 2 years. And they said, well, for the basic package and that it is, but for the local broadcasting and for something else, that we don't have any control over that, and those went up like $4 or $5, and then it went up again this month, and they just rip you every time. And they've got an excuse for it. They did tell me that they were going to have some kind of a new package available in about this time of year, April or so, and to visit them before my contract expired because there might be better deals out there.
Mitch, we don't have to pay for Matlock and Mrs. Fletcher and things like that.
I don't even watch those, so I don't know.
I'm just telling you as a joke.
Oh, okay.
One thing that helps if you're not satisfied, ask for an upper level person at Comcast on the phone. And they have more knowledge and can make better deals and know some other stuff.
Yeah, sometimes if
The
you
lower tier doesn't.
you're going to leave, they'll come up with something.
Well, I just told Sirius Radio, turn it off, never call me, send me another piece of mail, and if you gave it to me for nothing, I don't want it. I mean, they drive you absolutely insane, Sirius Radio.
Sirius Radio is one that, they'll come up and yours is renewing for $200, and I call them and I say, look, I'm going to cancel this whole thing. They say, wait a minute, let me transfer you, and then I end up getting another year for $60.
Yeah, after an hour and a half on the telephone.
Why do you want Sirius? Why do you want that?
Well, I listen to a lot of things in my car.
You can't just drive.
News channels and...
Get all these distractions.
Classic radio. What's wrong with the radio?
Well, the radio doesn't have all the stock reports, and that's sort of my business.
Well, plus, you don't have to change a channel when you drive through the whole continent, you can listen to
I mean, I can get all the news channels, I can get Fox, I can get CNN, I can get Bloomberg, I can get CNBC, and I listen to those. I don't listen to the music.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, any experience, I keep getting Comcast. We actually kicked Comcast out of where we live, and there was a lot of problems associated with that. We actually went with Summit Broadband. Any experience with Summit Broadband with Apple TV?
Well, I don't have any because I only have, talk about a monopoly, that's Comcast, because like where I'm at, I've got two choices, Comcast or CenturyLink, and that really means you have one choice.
Well, we had two choices.
Same thing.
Summit Broadband or Comcast. Comcast was dreadful. Absolutely.
Well, I've never had any problems. I've had problems with their pricing, but I have not had that many problems with the service.
Me too, right?
They've been pretty reliable for me.
Yeah. Well, we kicked them out. We did.
A lot of communities, it was at a community or condo building or something?
No, it's not. It's a single family home, but in Pelican Bay there's 7,000. They just stopped it. I think it must have lost a ton of money in that. Because they put new fibre optics in. With Summit Broadband, it works extremely well.
Yeah, I wish I had that capability, but I don't.
And they're very reasonable. Every time there's a problem, I got like $50 of credit. So when they went in, I had like...
So you're on the phone all the time, hey, there's a problem, hey, there's a problem.
Not into my own money yet.
All right. Anything else? I wanted to get to one demo here.
Oh.
All right. Let me get you. I'm getting on my phone.
Did you disconnect?
Yeah, I did. Okay, so I've shown this before, but I want to show it again, and that's on notes and on reminders. I'll show you notes real quick. Okay, on notes, you'll notice I have several folders. Okay, you can just create a folder at the bottom where it says new folders there, so I just sort of I got to having so many notes that I had to organize them. Now the bad thing about notes is that you can't move them easily, or I haven't found a good way. So if I just started a folder on the watch the other day. And so if I have in my computer notes, I have watch notes, I need to go in and copy the whole note, paste it into the watch folder, and then go back and delete it in the other one. It's sort of a pain. So that's how I sort of organize my notes, and all of them, you'll notice at the top, are in iCloud. A lot of people make a mistake and they store them on their own device, and then they're wondering why they're not showing on their computer, or they're wondering why it doesn't show on their iPad. Everything iCloud, and that's me. So any questions on notes before I move on? Yes?
If you have existing compartmentalized, can you move them into iCloud?
Yeah, yes, I think you could, I'm not sure of that.
I don't understand.
If he has, so if I had them and they were on the device, and I wanted them in iCloud rather than on the device, I think you have to, I know I went through that process a couple of years ago, and I can't remember exactly what I did.
Thank you.
Well, that's what you have there, isn't it?
Just make sure that note is checked off on each device.
Yeah, it's all on iCloud right here. He was asking if it's on my device and I want to get it on iCloud, what do I need to do to transfer it? Because I just looked at somebody's phone the other day, and half of their notes were on their phone and half of them were in iCloud. And I said, first thing you need to do is clean this up and get everything in iCloud. So
the question is, how do you put it on iCloud? I guess is what his question.
That's what his question is, and I don't know how to transfer it over. I've done that a couple of times.
I thought if you have iCloud, if you go into the cloud and you check off notes, shouldn't it all go into notes in the cloud?
It should, and what George is talking about is, so if I go here and I go into right at the top where my name is, and I go into iCloud, you'll see I have notes checked. And that might do it. Yes, Marilyn?
Mine are all in iCloud, so I can't check this, but there is an edit function in Notes. Sometimes if you go into edit, sometimes they'll let you move things. I don't know if that's possible because I can't check it myself. But if,
Yeah, I did mine, I got all mine in iCloud a couple of years ago, and I just don't remember what procedure.
but
I
if you
went
go
through.
to notes and edit, see if they'll let you move it. I don't know.
But I thought by,
It does say move all, but I'm afraid to.
well, then say move all.
Yeah, you want to move them all. They're not going to go away.
Where's that, edit?
In edit settings.
And it says move all to iCloud?
Can you show us that?
Yeah. I can't, if you've already got it in iCloud, that's not a thing you can bring up.
Yeah, right, but if, that's why I don't know, but usually edit lets you sometimes move stuff.
Yes.
So I was not as organized as you, yeah, when you go to edit, you can't tap and select, I think which ones, because I have move all, and then I started selecting them, and then it says move to. So I haven't tried to move anything yet, but let's see if I move to, yeah, then it gives me iCloud as an option.
Please don't scream. Yes.
What's the difference between iCloud and iCloud Drive?
Yes, Marilyn.
iCloud Drive is actually the way you move files between devices. So you have on your computer, you in the sidebar, you would have iCloud Drive, and then Mitch, if you go into the home page,
Home?
go home and see if see where the file, you see that little, oh no, that's the mail. There, I don't know where yours is, but on your home pages, you will see a little file kind of.
Oh, the file. I know what you mean. The folder file?
Oh, that's what that is.
I don't know if you can find it, but anyway, it's a little blue thing. Let me see. Oh, look at mine. It's just a folder. It looks like a blue folder. The blue folder is it's called Files. That is iCloud Drive.
Right there, OneDrive is in it.
No, OneDrive is Microsoft's.
No, it's just a blue folder on a white background,
I think it's
and
in
it's
that.
called Files.
I think it was in the, on the folder.
There it is.
There it is. Okay.
And it's in utilities.
That's what it looks like. Okay. Now, the way I use it a lot, especially when I'm teaching classes and things. If you put, this goes into the cloud, but it's not part of iCloud specifically. In other words, you have to do it through the folder. So if you're on your computer or you're on another device and you take and you put something in the file, then that goes into the cloud. It's not on your computer and it's in the cloud. So when you go into that little folder, it'll have all the things that you put in there, and then you download them to where you want them. So if I want to move something from my computer, which I do, like if I make a PDF of a class I'm teaching, and I put my slides in there, then I just take that PDF and I slide it on my computer into that little iCloud Drive, and then I open up my iPad, and then I click on the file icon and open that up. It'll give me the chance to download it onto my iPhone or my iPad.
So it's a nice way to transfer.
So it's a way to transfer files, but the files are not kept, unless you download them into your device, they're kept in the cloud. So it's a good way to save space, number one, and it's a good way to transfer files. Now, if you want to, keep them on your device, then you'd have to make a copy or whatever. It's sort of like Dropbox, and it's similar to that.
Okay, I want to go over this one more demo first, okay? And reminders, okay? Reminders, I have, these are, the third one down, just reminders are several reminders I have that go off every day. I have a reminder to make sure my Apple Watch is on at 7:30. which 98% of the time it is, but there are a couple days that I forgot to put it on, and so I have a reminder that comes up every day. Cody is our dog, and I have a reminder in there to give him this medication every day at 10:30.
Do you have a reminder in there to brush your teeth?
I have a reminder never to call you, it's not showing. Okay, then I have some that are way out. So I mentioned Comcast. Well, my Comcast thing comes due on August the 2nd. My global entry, my wife's global entry pass comes due on in 20, and mine comes due in 20 as well. It gives the dates, so they won't expire. And then remember I said that Comcast was going to have some specials? I had a reminder in here to check on April 15th, because they told me when last time I was in the store about mid-April they were going to have some specials. I should check with them, so I had a reminder on that. So the point is you can have reminders that are a year or two out. Like you could have one for your passport. You know, hey, my passport's going to be coming due in 3 years, and you can put that date in.
But you could have used calendar, right?
Yeah, you could use calendar too. Now, this is the one I wanted to show you. I set up one for Costco, and I'm going to just check these off. But it's got nothing there. But it has the completed one. So when we're going to Costco, the only thing it doesn't do that I don't like is it won't allow you to put these in alphabetic order easily. Okay? But if we're going to go to Costco, I get my wife and I sit her down for 5 minutes, which is sometimes tough to do. And I just say, okay, what do we need? We need water, and we need some nuts, and we need some cheese, and we need some beets, and let's see, now we don't need these other things, and we need some hard-boiled eggs, and some avocados, and we need some fish, okay, and mashed potatoes. And then there's nothing else that we need. And this is all stuff that at one point in time was on the list. So if there's
not in alphabetical order.
They're not in alphabetical order. So you got to go through the list. So then I just show hide completed. Now this is my list when I walk into Costco. Okay, when I walk into Costco, I take a look at the list before I walk in. About midway through, I pull out my phone. I say, okay, I got the water, I got the potatoes and avocados and the hard-boiled eggs. I still have to get nuts, beets, and cheese. And it's really just very convenient.
Can you drag them in the order of the aisles?
No.
So you
and so if I get finished and like I didn't get any fish because I decided I didn't want it, I can just mark it as complete, or I can leave it open to remind me that I still got to get fish somewhere else, and it's in my Costco list. If I leave it open, when I go back out here, it's going to show Costco 1, so I know that there was one item I didn't get. Yes?
I just noticed I wanted reminders to see what you were doing. And the reminders I have on here don't match what I have on my iPad.
That's because, again, if you go into your settings right here, hit on my name, you got to do this on both devices, iCloud right there, and you hit reminders and make sure it's turned on in the iCloud. Okay?
It is here, but I don't know if it is on the iPad.
Yes, check that, and on your computer as well. Yes?
The great thing with the reminder is that you can have all kinds of features, like if I go to a certain point, it will remind me of something.
Yes, you can do that as well.
A lot of this kind of thing to study and use.
Yes, you can do that, set a reminder that when I get to this location, remind me.
But that uses your battery, because it's always looking.
Yeah, it does use your battery. I know you're always concerned about your battery there. Anyhow, I just got a reminder that the meeting is now over.